Another week, another episode of No Holds Barred. This is episode 6, and unfortunately, we do have to start this week again on a somber note, as on Sunday, July 29th, there were 3 different wrestlers who passed away. Nikolai Volkov, Brickhouse Brown, and Grandmaster Sexay Brian Christopher. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of all 3 men. Just positive vibes being sent all those ways. Nothing related to what New Jack or Sabu said. It's one of those things where I feel like if you have nothing good to say, don't say it at all. But I know my co-host TJ was quite the big fan of Grandmaster Sexay. So to talk a little bit more about that, I'm going to turn it over to him right now just because he'll give more insight for him as he has more knowledge on Grandmaster Sexay as a whole.
Well, say it right, Griff. It's Grandmaster Sexay.
Sexay.
Yeah, it was very sad just finding out all of a sudden that, of course it's all of a sudden. You don't really see stuff like this coming. But very sad. Grandmaster Sexay, definitely one of those characters that I just loved growing up. One of those, he wasn't one of my top favorites, but just one of those lower card acts that always, kind of made you excited, when you heard the music and they were coming out to wrestle. Especially that theme song was, I was playing it yesterday actually, and yeah, it brought back a lot of memories. Of course, people love to play with his entrance. His sort of not the entrance music, but what do you call it? In the video games where they have Triple H doing the Grandmaster Sexay entrance, and he's doing the shovel dance, the shovel move. Yeah, that's the song. Griff is just probably gonna be hearing this song.
We'll play it for a couple seconds.
Is this your first time hearing it?
No, I've heard it before.
Yeah. Triple H right there.
That was interesting.
Don't want to play it for too long because don't want to get copyrighted, but I just felt like playing it.
But yeah, so his entrance where he does a shovel dance, I know a lot of people give that to Triple H on the YouTube clips, and then Triple H is coming out doing the shovel dance because he's burying people. But very unfortunate because especially I feel so bad about Jerry the King Lawler. No dad, as they say, no dad should have to bury their son. So I know that they had some issues. I know that's kind of here and there because there's a lot of rumors and people say, well, some of it's true, some of it's not. Who knows what's true and what's not true? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter at this point. They did have some issues between each other, but from, I believe it was 2011 or 2012 when they kind of talked about it, and they were like, yeah, there was some truth to some of those rumors about them not having a good relationship, but for the most part, they kept a good relationship. All was forgiven for the past. So, if I'm hoping that's true, of course, and if that's true, at least Lawler had a good relationship with his son before this happened. But yeah, the simple fact is, for years we all knew that, at least some of us who cared enough to really read up on it, but Brian Lawler had his demons. Everyone knew about it. He was getting arrested. I don't know how many times. It was maybe 5th or 6th time he got arrested overall, and this was his second DUI or something. So, as some of you already know, he was in jail and he tried hanging himself, and he was on life support. So he could have been saved. It's an unfortunate thing that he didn't. He wasn't saved, but I was all I'm kind of also at a loss of words because, again, there's just the thought of Jerry Lawler having to go through that especially is very heartbreaking. And so my thoughts with the entire family. I know he has his brother Kevin Lawler, who is a referee. I forget if he's where he is a referee. I don't know if he still referees, but he was at least a referee. So he's leaving behind a father and a brother, and hopefully they have a good recovery. And I mean, what more can I really say? It's very sad stuff. So, and about Nikolai Volkov, of course I wasn't or not probably. I wasn't even born at the time when he was really hitting it off, but still, I mean, I am familiar with him. I do know some of his work, so it's again sad thing. He lived a good life at least, and I know some people who met him said he was very nice all the time. Not a bad thing to say about him. I know he was actually Croatian. He's not even actually Russian. That's just something that that was a gimmick. But yeah, he was. Well, at the time it was Yugoslavia, mind you. So
Split Croatia.
yeah, because it was Yugoslavia back in the day. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, it was.
it was, right. Yeah. So because I know it wasn't too long ago when they split and the 7 countries came out of it. And Brickhouse Brown, not really him. I'm really not familiar with that at all. I did know about him because he was the Bad News Brown, which is what the comparisons also were of Bad News Barrett back in the day when he was doing that gimmick. But yeah, Brickhouse Brown, I know he made his name in USWA and NWA. He was rarely in WWE, so not really a WWF star, but still someone who was nonetheless very good at his work, and he will definitely be missed too by whoever, his family and friends and all of his fans from back in the day. I'll give this to Griff now. Let's see what he has to say.
Just looking at everything, I saw the cause of death with Nikolai Volkov. I believe it was just recurring health issues because they said he was in the hospital the day before with dehydration. I did a little bit of research. But the Brian Christopher stuff, he was arrested for disorderly conduct and also in public intoxication back in 2009. And then he did spend 30 days in jail, but I guess because of previous arrests, he was in jail. And I guess when he was in jail, it's like they say with anyone with mental health or anything, like, hell, look at what Demi Lovato just went through with that near heroin overdose. Sometimes the demons get the best of you, and I guess he just didn't see an end. He saw himself, like, was probably not morally embarrassed, but he was just probably, like, embarrassed, and, like, I don't know what else to say, just because, like, it's really sad, honestly. Like you said, no father ever wants to bury their son. Like, I just can't imagine what Jerry the King Lawler's going through right now. Like I said, thoughts and prayers of the whole Lawler family. And then the fact, too, like I read, he was on life support until Jerry got to the hospital, and then he died just after Jerry got there. So the fact that Jerry was there to say goodbye to his son, even though he was not responsive and he was brain dead, but I guess just the fact, too, he didn't see any, I guess when you're that far, I don't mean to be stuttering so much, I'm just trying to find the right words to say here, because I do want to use the right words and language for such a sensitive topic like this, but I feel like it was one of those things where his demons got the best of him, and he's just like, I'll take not the easy way out, but like I feel like when people are that far into either an addiction or a depression or any mental health issues, suicide sometimes is the easy way out for them, for especially something that they're going through, and I wish that upon no family at all. Like, that's why everything that's going through with mental health research is absolutely phenomenal. But I say we shift gears now. We talk a little bit whatever.
To say was, this also just.
Okay, cool. There you go.
No, one thing I did want to say was this also reminds me a lot of Testa's that actually Andrew Martino.
He died in 2009 or 2008?
No, it was like 2009. Not Andrew Martino, Andrew Martin, I think that was his name.
Yeah.
His death was very shocking to me too. Probably not shocking to people who were obviously involved in his life and kind of knew of his demons too, but it was just out of nowhere. He had a oxycodone overdose. I know that, it was kind of like very like when I read about it, how they even found him, like, his neighbor just observing him from their window saw he wasn't moving for hours, so they called the police on him, and then they found him dead in his condo. So it was just one of those things where Tess was also someone I liked during the Attitude Era, growing up, and I used to play with him on those SmackDown games, SmackDown 1 and 2 on PlayStation 1. Of course, tons of people have done that, that we know today, grew up on those games. And so, yeah, like, Tess was one of those characters that I really liked playing with. I even had a little action figure of him. So it's just one of those things where it's like you grow up with these guys, and then of course, sometimes we forget about them because they leave wrestling and we kind of focus on other wrestlers and we kind of just forget about them because they weren't big enough stars or whatever. But then every now and then, I would check up on them, see what they're doing, if there's any news about them doing something different. I think with Grandmaster Sexay, one thing that's really the takeaway from that is I felt like he didn't really have any avenues outside of wrestling. He had wrestling for a while. He was very popular with Too Cool, one of the hottest lower card tag teams at the time. But apart from that, when all of that went to shit, that's why he went really into drugs. This is obviously speculation over here, but that's what it's
more alcohol than drugs.
Well, alcohol, drugs,
Yeah.
Either way,
That's
same thing.
On the test, actually.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like there was nothing for him to really bounce to fall back on. It seems like after wrestling, and that's what really led to his downfall big time. And so yeah, it just reminds me a lot of the test death because I remember he was very young. He was even younger than Grandmaster Sexay. He was actually 38 or something at the time. 36. He was. It reminded me too of how young he was. Just how young he was when he was in wrestling. Kind of like a Rene Dupree. I know he was like 19 when he actually debuted on the main roster. So, and he was 20 when he won the title. He was the youngest champion until Nicholas broke that record. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, really sad stuff. Griff has something to say, so go ahead.
So with Test, like with Grandmaster Sexay, it turns out it was just disorderly conduct and public intoxications wrestling. I guess he did have alcohol as his demons, but it says with Test.
Well, he did get DUI.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of things, right? There's no like one thing with the Grandmaster Sexay.
It was, but then also it says actually Test's last match was
ECW.
no, and then in wrestling in general, he did a TNA match with Rene Dupree. And then in February 29, he beat Mitsuya Nagi. I know I butchered that, but whatever. But it says right here, he did have he tested 2 DUIs in Florida.
Oh, Mitsuya Nagi?
Yeah, but then he was found dead on March 13th, 2009, prior to his birthday. Basically, they'd seemed like he was motionless in his house.
Yeah, his neighbors saw him motionless.
But here's the interesting part. It was later determined by forensic pathologist Dr. Bennett Amalu that Martin had severe chronic traumatic encephalitis. I don't even want to attempt that word. Don't want the E. Encephaliology.
Encephalopathy.
Yes. Caused by reported concussions and subconcussive head injuries. He was cremated and flown to his hometown of Whitby. But here's the thing with fun fact actually about all that. Bennett Amalu, that is the doctor that Will Smith played in the movie Concussion that was released, I believe, in 2015. Fantastic movie if you have the chance to check it out. But that's just a very fun fact that I saw about that because he was involved with all those concussion protocol stuff with the NFL installing a concussion protocol back in 2005. But it was like I don't know if it's 05, but it was like mid-2000s because that's when a lot more of the players started killing themselves. But that's another story for another day. Anyway, guys, we're here. We're doing this the same thing as last week where we were watching Monday Night Raw as we're recording. It was we missed Alexa Bliss versus Alicia Fox, which I don't know who won, but they beat up Ronda afterwards. And then Ronda.
Wait, Ronda was out there?
Ronda was out there with Natalia, and then Alexa Bliss was out there with Alicia Fox.
I didn't even pay attention at all.
Exactly. We were that's why I like doing the podcast on Monday nights, because Raw's that one show where you can honestly watch in the background. Whatever happens, happens. Oh, wonderful. We're getting the Riot Squad, which looks like Ruby Riot's back against Bayley and Sasha. Yippee!
She's not wrestling, though.
No, but that's why she's in the far back. So it'll be Sarah Logan and Ruby Riot versus Sasha and Bayley.
Will we get,
And Braun Strowman versus Jinder Mahal. What a match. Jinder Mahal's on Raw, folks. Oh, my God.
just the look of this bitch pisses me off.
Oh, I think this. No, it's not Elias. I gotta wonder who's coming out now.
What's this, yeah, they all want attention.
I don't know what's happening right now. They're literally showing a shot of the crowd, and then they go to, I think, commercial because it's black for a bit. Yeah.
The dogs want to be part of the podcast.
Yes. And now we got Randy Orton beating up Jeff Hardy from SmackDown last week. Yes, but like we said before, we're not an official studio yet, even though we have a higher subscriber count than Nightmare 10. But we do have my dogs, Patches and Bella, who need attention too. He just saw the microphone and started sniffing it, so that's that. And Bella's just been sitting on the other couch like, I don't care what you guys are doing. But anyway, guys, yeah, we're just here to talk about whatever today. One thing I wanted to bring up personally, not Evolution. I feel like I don't want to talk about it the amount that the WWE has been talking about it because, like we said, we'll talk about it more as the show progresses. But we may bring up some matches we'd like to see, what could happen. But one thing I want to talk about is the Mae Young Classic for 2008. This show, like not show, but this tournament last year was great. There was a lot of good wrestling on it. Match of the tournament, if you haven't checked it out or want to check it out again, Kairi Sane versus Tessa Blanchard. Those two women tore the house down. I know it tapes in next week, actually, next Wednesday and next Thursday.
Okay.
But what's going to happen is they're going to do the same thing probably where they tape it and then they'll show it on delay because the finals are at the Evolution pay-per-view in October 28th, I believe it. Yeah, October 28th is the finals. Because see here, like the 2017, July 13th, 14th, September 12th was the final.
Yeah.
But like, here's the whole bracket. So pretty much you'll like see here, like for example, the round of 32 last year taped on July 13th, shown on August 28th, and then you had the round of 16, the quarters, and the semis all taped in one night. So this year, I feel like with that they're going to do the same thing. So avoiding the spoilers for that will be key. But this year we have some returning competitors. We do have. Before we talk about the new competitors, I want to talk about some of the returning competitors, which include Toni Storm, Tainara Conti, Rhea Ripley, Reina Gonzalez, Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, and Kavita Devi. Basically, I'm excited for that portion. Also, on another note, did you watch the Mae Young Classic from last year, TJ?
Some of it, not all of it.
Oh, okay. Because a lot of those women, I'm excited to see, and I'll let TJ touch on this before we get into the newer competitors, which we're only going to talk about the ones that we know, because like I don't want to go and talking about someone like new competitor Ilsa Dawn, and I don't know anything about her. But like with the competitors from last year, all those competitors that were in last year's tournament, except for Kavita Devi, were fairly good wrestlers. Toni Storm making it all the way to the semifinals, losing to Kairi Sane, and Mercedes Martinez as well in the other semi, losing to Shayna. Let's just check quickly with the others how far they made it. Reina Gonzalez lost I believe in the first round to where is it? I'm trying to find the tournament bracket exactly because it's a little hard to read. But even let's see here. Reina Michelle, she lost to Candice LeRae in the first round. Rhea Ripley made it to the quarterfinals. Rhea Ripley made it to the round of 16, losing to Dakota Kai. And Tainara Conti lost to Lacey Evans in the first round, and same with Kavita Devi, lost to Dakota Kai in the first round. But anyway, guys, with that being said, I'm excited to see how these women, except for Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez, and also Mia Yim, I believe, went out in the second round of the tournament. Because I know Toni Storm signed to the NXT UK brand, which Mia Yim's actually pretty hot. But I saw a picture of her. But let's see.
It might be the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion.
Yeah, so I hope so. She defeated Sarah Logan in her first round matchup, but then she lost to Shayna Baszler. But even look at that. Sarah Logan, a girl who was not well known to the WWE Universe, now is on Monday Night Raw. Like, that's something to look at, just to think of how far these talents have come. Shayna Baszler is the NXT Women's Champion. Hell, it's Shayna versus Kairi at Brooklyn. Like, it just proves that if you have your women go in the right direction, or even superstars go in the right direction, they can go somewhere. But like TJ, like with that list of wrestlers, you have to admit, with the exceptions of some, it's going to be exciting to see what different styles they bring to this year's tournament, or even if they've changed their game up a little bit, because it's kind of like now, hey, all these new competitors, they can say they kind of have film on them or know what they're going to do. But even last year's tournament too, like, look at Candice LeRae. Like, look at all these people. Like, a lot of these people are signed. All the returnings are signed, I believe, except for Mercedes Martinez and Mia Yim. Like, I know because Devi, Conti were in the Mania Women's Battle Royal. But do you agree with me on the whole? Like, you're excited to see what the returners bring? Because even though, like, returning can be a stupid thing, especially for a tournament, it's good to see, too, because you kind of have those women where it's kind of like, especially with the NXT women, like Tainara Conti, Reina Gonzalez, Rhea Ripley, and Kavita Devi, of where exactly they've gone, how exactly have they improved since this time last year.
Well, I don't see why they wouldn't have any returning.
And my dog literally runs back in the room as Elias comes on the TV, so I think Patches is an Elias mark.
Yeah, he wants to walk with Elias.
Yeah. You want to walk with Elias?
Imagine Elias taking patches on a walk.
Oh yeah, that'd be hilarious. I'd love that.
But yeah, I don't know if people, because I don't really keep up with all of this stuff, but if all of this stuff meaning like people giving their opinions on Twitter, not too much, but if people are complaining, I don't know if maybe that's what you're referring to, but if people are complaining about returning wrestlers, then they're just dumb. Why wouldn't they have some returning wrestlers for this tournament? Like every year, you cannot just go around finding new. And why would you want that anyway? Like every year, just like 16 or whatever new faces. Like that's just such a waste. It's like, okay, if you can, obviously the whole point of the tournament is just eventually sign some of these people. So if you can get them right away, some of them will return and you'll get them the second time. Some of them will return maybe a third time and you'll get them then, right? It's just one of those things where if they're a big star, like for example, Toni Storm is pretty well known, so why wouldn't she return, right? Rhea Ripley, again, not as well known as Toni Storm perhaps, but again, she's pretty familiar with the fans. Caitlyn, I'm really excited about because I did like her during her run.
Well, Caitlyn's return. Well, I was talking about more or less people who were returning to the tournament instead
I know.
of someone like but no.
But I'm just talking about like returns in general, of like who, like even though obviously Caitlyn was a former like main roster wrestler, she's still returning in the sense like she's coming back to wrestling, period, because she wasn't wrestling since I think she quit in 2014. So not even 2014, it was actually 2013 because AJ beat her in 2013 Payback, and then shortly after that, I believe Caitlyn quit. So really excited to see Caitlyn because
July 17th, 2014 was when she was released.
Yeah, doesn't matter what date anyway. But point is, yeah, she's been gone for like 4 or 5 years, and I'm excited to see her because I did enjoy her, and she's looking even better than she did before. You know, that's the thing. Like someone I was talking to said that with some of these women, the thing is, and even with some of the male wrestlers, but like especially with some of these women, when you give them time off, at least with the talented ones, when you give them time off to kind of like take away from wrestling and just do their own thing, and they come back, they look even better. Like we saw at Royal Rumble, Tori Wilson looks even better than. I mean, not even better, but she looks very good for someone who's now 42, and she's obviously doing very well for herself. Trish Stratus is looking very good. Lita's looking very good. Same thing with Caitlyn. She's been gone, but she's looking. And in Caitlyn's case, I would say she's actually looking better than she did before. With the straight jet black hair and like the buff body, she's obviously very attractive, and I'm very excited to see her. I know there's a Canadian one called Nicole Matthews, I believe her name.
I believe she's
from
British Columbia.
Yeah, somewhere in Canada, but
Kuala Lumpur, British Columbia. Yeah, she's from BC.
Oh, Coquilliam or whatever. Yeah, Coquilliam. That's how I think they say it. Coquilliam, BC. And how old is she?
Okay, we're getting Bobby Lashley versus fucking Elias at SummerSlam. 31.
So she's on a bit on the older side, but yeah, I mean I'm excited to see her, see what she brings to the table. If she's really good, I'll even cheer her to be the Canadian winner of the tournament. But then we have what was that Portuguese one?
Killer Kelly, but Kelly's a stage name. Her name is Raquel. I'm not even going to attempt to
Lourenco.
She's from Lisbon, which everyone from Portugal is from Lisbon because no one knows anywhere else in Portugal.
Portugal's
also signed though. She is signed to the NXT UK. That's just something to note. That yeah.
Did you know Portugal is a third world country?
Yeah, no, I did not actually. I was there about a month ago. It's lovely.
Yeah. So the thing is, actually, I don't know if you guys heard me when Griff asked me, but I didn't watch the Mae Young Classic fully last year. Last year was one of those years for me that not one of those years because I don't really have many of those years, but. Griff will tell you I was not actually watching wrestling at all. I was basically I went from WrestleMania 33. I watched that live, and then I did not watch wrestling again until Royal Rumble 2018. So after Royal Rumble 2018, I basically just went back and watched from WrestleMania 33 up until the Royal Rumble. I just watched some highlights of Raws and SmackDowns and kind of caught up but because of that, I didn't really watch any of the tournaments. Well, I mean, I did watch the Cruiserweight Classic all the way back in 2016, but that was really the last sort of tournament off the main roster that I actually watched. But what I'll do is I'll watch the entirety of the Mae Young Classic this time before the second one starts. So this way, at least I have. I mean, I watched like half of it anyway, so it's not much I have to catch up on, but just something I want to finish before I start watching the second one. So it'll be interesting. Is there? Wow, there's a fucking Indian lady.
Yeah, Kavita Devi.
What does she? What does she look like?
She's signed right now. She's not the best looking woman in the world.
No, I just want to see what. She looks like a fucking the Great Khali of women. Well, click on her picture.
She is 5'9".
Yeah, because she looks pretty big. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is she like 6 feet tall?
Yeah, look at her ring gear. What is she wearing there?
I don't even know what. Why do you ask me as if I would know?
I don't know, but she can lift 75 kgs.
She can lift 75 kgs. Is that what her weight is?
No, it's what she can lift. They don't.
Damn, actually, that weight would be terrifying because that she would be like 200 pounds.
Do you know this where she is from? Julana. In the
Which state is it?
Haryana.
Yeah, Haryana is very close to Punjab.
Okay.
So it's she's like the.
She's been working at the Performance Center, and she was in the Mania Battle Royal.
Was she?
Yeah.
Who cares? She's gonna be probably trash like Jinder Mahal.
Probably, but her influence is the Great Khali, and when you're in.
Wait, did I just hear that?
Yeah. Kavita cites her trainer, the Great Khali, as her main inspiration to become a professional
Okay.
wrestler.
Okay.
Like,
This is what we're gonna do with this part of the podcast, where if this part of the podcast where we mentioned her name,
Dalip Singh Rana.
I'm gonna first of all wash my.
45. Hey, you live in Houston?
I'm gonna wash my mouth after this podcast, and forget that bitch's existence, and then, so I'm gonna basically delete her off of my mind.
She was in the Mae Young Classic. You can't delete her.
No, I'm gonna delete her. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna put censors on the Mae Young Classic when I watch it. And good God, I can't believe just what.
The Great Khali.
Does she have no self-awareness?
I guess not. She's also 31.
Oh my God, like what the. The Great Khali, her trainer. What the fuck did he train you to yell? Yeah. That's your training? To chop people's heads?
To squish a fucking basketball with the palm of your hands?
Like, did he train you to walk like he does? Like, he can't even fucking move. He can't even walk 5
One of the
feet.
best theme songs in WWE history.
He can't even walk 5 feet in like 5 minutes.
I don't even care if we get copyright. I gotta play this like old school theme song.
Man.
Not the very racist, racially charged Punjabi one.
So of course she's gonna be probably even worse than Jinder Mahal. What's with all these fucking trash Indians wrestling,
Oh,
man?
here it is. This one. Let's just play.
Oh
let's
no!
just play.
Why do you want to play this trash? He wants to play Great Khali's theme music.
This is the tiger, and then his eyes are like on fire.
You know what's really sad? You know what's really sad?
What?
One day he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, he will be for sure. Dude, I have a philosophy. If Coco Beware can get in, anyone can get in. That's my philosophy on the Hall of Fame. But dude, thank you for making my night with that. You're just reacting to someone being influenced by the Great Khali to wrestle. Oh, this is why I love podcasting, because this is why just podcasts like this we can go off the rails. Oh, now speaking of another Punjab, here's Jinder Mahal from last week's Raw when he was trying to calm down Braun Strowman, but now he's going to get murdered by Braun Strowman in probably like 5 minutes.
Shanti,
Yeah, Shanti.
which means peace.
Well, if you were ringside, you could probably just scream "Chutia bro" at Jinder Mahal as he walks down the ramp.
I mean,
Some Brampton guys will probably know what you're saying, but if security catches on, you'll probably get kicked out. Oh.
one thing I've said that
Oh.
is that
I'll let TJ take this back. I gotta attend to something.
what happened?
Nothing. Just a lot of dog hair going on the couch. With someone. Okay, you want to come up? You can move over.
Okay. Yeah, Patches is
We gotta
coming
make
up.
room for the dog. What?
And then Bella's going to want to come join now.
Bella, no, you can't. No, Bella, there's not enough room.
Poor Bella.
Sorry, Bella.
But she's going to try.
She's gonna try and make it work.
So where were we?
Great Khali influencing people to wrestle.
No, I'm deleting. I have no memory of that. The Dream has no memory of that.
The Dream does not recall that.
Yeah. So
Do you think SummerSlam? I got a question for you. I want to bring this up. Quickly looking at SummerSlam, do you think SummerSlam is going to be a good show, a bad show, or a forgetful SummerSlam like 2012? Because remember, headlined by Brock Lesnar and Triple H in a no-holds-barred match, the perfect storm. Well, it was a storm, but it was not perfect at all. I'm just going to get into my thoughts, because I think SummerSlam, I'm going in with low expectations, honestly. I know it's one of your biggest shows of the year, but you know what? None of the matches really captivate me. Like, Brock Roman again. You have also Miz and Brian probably happen, which will be good. Joe and AJ, which I'm looking forward to, but I don't want to get my hopes up. Women's titles, I see both changing, even though I do think Alexa should hold on and give her a lengthy reign. Make Ronda. You don't have to have Ronda look strong just because she's an attraction. And then the other matches, Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak should be good, but I have a feeling they're going to get kicked to the pre-show. And whatever the tag team title match is, it'll be good. But apart from that, I'm more excited for us to go to the Super China Buffet with Assault and Battery, RKO, the infamous NWO, and the Slakester.
So is that a confirmed thing that we're doing the?
Dave Meltzer confirmed. Sunday.
Man, fuck Dave Meltzer.
It's a joke. It's a Dave Meltzer confirmed thing. It's a joke because it's like, oh yeah, Meltzer confirmed it, but no. Super China Buffet. We're gonna go eat Mandarin before SummerSlam at the Mandarin up in Brampton. You know the big one.
Yeah.
We're gonna go there probably like 4.
I've been there once. Yeah.
Hungover after because literally.
You would think the biggest Mandarin would be in Markham.
It's racially charged, but no. So our weekend's gonna be like this. We have we have a party. TJ and I have an event to go to on the Saturday night, and then Sunday we're gonna wake up hungover, watch NXT Brooklyn 4, and then because I'm gonna do my best actually to stay off social media that night because I do want to find out for myself what happened, what happens with NXT. I don't want to be spoiled, so I'm gonna stay off social media so I can go in, watch the show, and enjoy it, and then go to Mandarin, enjoy some food, and then come back to my house and watch SummerSlam with the boys. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing this garbage SummerSlam commercial right now.
Go watch the 03 promo, one of the best promos ever done.
Yeah, so I showed Griff the 2003 SummerSlam commercial, which I was one of my favorite commercials of all time for a pay-per-view, where Brock Lesnar F5's a shark. Which is pretty hilarious stuff, and back when they could actually kind of have some edgy commercials and edgy TV shows that Conrad commented on the actual photo. Wait, did he?
No, I'm saying should he comment on the photo of a person that we know with Nikolai Volkov?
Wait, Maurice looks. Oh, never mind.
Well, she was pregnant during there.
You knew what I was gonna say. Yeah, no, Maurice was just looking a lot bigger in one of those during pregnancy. I didn't realize because I didn't really watch the show. But apparently the first one was kind of okay. But give it a chance, I guess. I'm not probably gonna check it out until maybe next year or something.
I found you can find it online, no problem. That's what I did.
Well, I know it's on watchwrestling.in. .in, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
so it's available places. It's just not my priority to watch reality shows, even if it's about wrestling or something I like. But where were we? We were talking about the reason I said it should be in Markham, or I'm surprised is the Mandarin, the biggest Mandarin is not in Markham, is because basically Markham is the suburb of Toronto one of the suburbs of Toronto, just like Mississauga, but it's full of Chinese people. And, kind of like Vaughan is full of Italians, Brampton's full of brown fucks, and then, I'm just kidding. But yeah, South Asians, not Mexicans.
Brampton's full of a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Northern Brampton has a lot of white people, the good people.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, and Super China Buffet, I mean, kind of looking forward to it. I've never done it before. Well, I mean, I've been to Mandarin, but never done this traditional thing with these guys. Because last year, SummerSlam, I joined like halfway through the show, or like the last, like, whatever, 2-3 matches. 2016, the same thing. So the last couple of years, and then 2015 we were there live. 2014 we were there live. So I've never really been available to do the Super China Buffet. I think the only time you guys did it was last year, right?
Do we turn the volume up now?
Maybe in a bit, because we have some mark for shitty wrestlers like Jinder Mahal.
Shut up. But no, I'll fill you in. So 2016, Justin, Brian, and I got Panda Express before SummerSlam. We actually missed the beginning of the show. And then last year it was Justin, a friend of his, and then a couple friends of ours who aren't really wrestling fans, but they just heard about our Mandarin plans, and we're kind of like, yeah, let's go to Mandarin. So we went, and then Hassan, Wilson's, and then our other buddy Matt.
But were they there for SummerSlam?
No, I think Matt was there for a bit, but then he left like right before the show started, and I think the Wilsons went back home. But for the most part, it was just like a joint Mandarin thing. But I think this year we're just going to keep it to like the strictly marks. I don't know though what anything can happen, but it'll be a good way to cure my probable hangover that day. But also though, yeah, like I just want to give you like that's what actually happened this year though. We're going to Mandarin. Justin will be marking out the whole time, but I did want to get your actual thoughts though on what you think SummerSlam is going to be so far and after Braun murders Jinder.
Fuck, like it's one of those things where I don't even. It's very hard for me to not care about wrestling because, like, even if it gets pretty shitty, like, because I like wrestling for wrestling, I don't know. I guess I kind of just enjoy it a little bit, even when it's kind of not that great, which is a bit of a bad thing for me, I guess, because, you would hope at least that if something's shitty, you're not kind of, like, enjoying it just for the sake of it. SummerSlam. See, that's the thing. I don't even care enough to comment on it. Like, I don't care enough to predict that, whether or not Kevin Owens is going to win. I mean, I just really don't want him winning because that would be very stupid and would kind of take away from Braun's momentum. I know Braun, a lot of people are saying, he doesn't fit with the Money in the Bank because he should be someone who, the whole gimmick with Money in the Bank is, having the cheap heel winning it and cashing it in last minute. But now that he has it, they should just go the route of having him announce his cash in, which I think was stupid that he just didn't announce right away and say, hey, Brock Lesnar, I challenge you at SummerSlam, and instead we have to deal with Reigns and Lesnar again. But yeah, Jinder just beat Mahal. I mean,
the main event is going on the top, so they really don't care about Mahal.
Jinder Mahal beat Braun Strowman by countout. I guess Braun Strowman is still following that booking pattern of the Money in the Bank winner losing matches quite a lot before he wins the title because they're just doing it a different way. They're having Braun lose by countout. They're having him lose by throwing Kevin Owens over the cage, but it's kind of similar, right? He's not going to probably have as many losses as the traditional guys do with the Money in the Bank briefcases, but it's just kind of funny that so far, at least, it seems like they are booking him kind of like the traditional Money in the Bank winner. And I would, if I have to guess though, I will say Braun retains at SummerSlam. I doubt that they're going to give it to Kevin Owens unless there's a huge audible that's called, and Reigns beats Lesnar, and I don't care to predict a cash-in because here's the thing. It's happened before where people predict a cash-in and then they're waiting, and I think Reigns is going to be celebrating, and then it just goes off air and people are like, well, what the fuck? So, I don't know.
I do have two things. One, the only other person I want to talk about that's new to the Mae Young Classic is Deonna Purrazzo and Ashley Rain, Madison Rain, call her you want. I'm just excited to see those two. I just wanted to throw that out there because I knew we got kind of off track and went into SummerSlam. But I do have a fantasy booking for SummerSlam in which Braun Strowman beats Kevin Owens, is walking to the back, sees Kurt Angle, and says, I want it in the Universal title, world title, Universal, whatever. It's the same thing. One's red, one's black. But basically, you have Braun Strowman be like, I'm cashing in for the main event tonight, and then Braun inserts himself, makes it a triple threat.
They could do that, but honestly, this is why I don't want. This is why I oppose it. This is why I oppose that singles match between Roman Reigns and Lesnar changing at all. Because here's a sad reality, right? Well, I don't know if it's sad reality because I think it should have happened anyway. I think Roman should have beaten Brock at WrestleMania. But here's the thing: the WWE is hellbent, and it's obvious that they want Reigns to get that one-on-one victory over Lesnar decisively. So, for the people who are wishing that this turns into a triple threat or fatal four-way or whatever, be careful with what you wish for, because guess what? Even if it does turn into a triple threat and Braun wins the title somehow down the line, then Reigns is still going to get back in the title picture. Brock Lesnar is going to get back in the title picture, and then you're going to get Reigns versus Lesnar 3 at WrestleMania 35 or something like that. So
You need 4 or 5?
no, I mean like singles, one-on-one.
Okay.
You're going to get Reigns versus Lesnar 3. So
No, this will be their 4th. This is their 4th match at SummerSlam, so next year will be 5.
no, I'm
Mania,
saying no.
Mania,
I know
GRR,
that.
SummerSlam. Oh, you mean Mania? Oh, like 30 at Mania.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, or I guess I did forget Greatest Royal Rumble, so I guess 4. Yeah.
The match
Roman
is so
Reigns.
bad, it was easy to forget.
Yeah. So, but yeah, for WrestleMania purposes, it would be the 3rd match. But yeah, so the thing is, you might as well just have Reigns do it so we can just get over this long ass, boring ass feud that's been going on for more than 3 years now. That people forget that WrestleMania 31 is when it started. So, I will take it back a little bit. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on it. I don't want to say it's boring ass or shitty ass or something like that. But like, it has dragged on. So, just give Roman the win over Lesnar so they can say, oh yeah, it was a big dog who slayed the beast. So let that happen, and then Braun can cash in after Roman wins. But even that, I don't know if I would be okay with that, because then Braun is like this guy who's cashing in on an injured Roman Reigns, you know? And how many times has it been done where it's like the guy wins the title finally and then he gets cashed in on? You know, it's happened at SummerSlam with Daniel Bryan. It even happened to Roman Reigns at Survivor Series in 2015. So it would just be a repetitive thing, you know? So
And then Sheamus was champ for 3 fucking weeks.
yeah, so I would just rather have Reigns beat Lesnar, have that in the show. Braun comes out the next night, says, hey, Reigns, I'm challenging you at No Mercy or whatever the September pay-per-view is.
I think it's Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yeah, it is Hell in a Cell. And then Braun says, okay, I'm challenging you at Hell in a Cell. And guess what? Actually, that would be, now that I think about it, that would actually not be bad, because Braun and Reigns have had a hell of a rivalry last year, but they never had a Hell in a Cell match, and usually Hell in a Cell matches are where rivalries and feuds end. So just have Braun call him out, say, I'm cashing in at Hell in a Cell, and then you have Braun beat Reigns, become the champion, and then maybe you can do one more rematch after that, because, you know, of course, Reigns will get opportunity after opportunity, and so he has to get his rematch, although, yeah, it kind of like kills the idea of a Hell in a Cell being the last match of the feud. But point is, they've had a lot of these different matches with each other, but they haven't had a Hell in a Cell. So it's an easy build. It writes itself in a way. So just go with that. You know, people, and even if Braun made it a triple threat, you know, that would be the exact same match except minus Samoa Joe from last year. So I don't know if I want to really have the same match at SummerSlam again for the 2nd year in a row. So, and I'm done with Brock Lesnar also having these multi-man matches where he kind of just either wins or he just doesn't lose, you know? And that's what would happen again, where if Braun gets into a triple threat, I have a feeling that he would just beat Reigns, and then Brock Lesnar just has another WrestleMania 31 incident. But maybe this time they would actually have Braun just pin Brock, so Brock can just go away in the sunset, and then Reigns can come out the next night and then continue that feud with Braun and say, hey, I'm owed a rematch or whatever. So they could actually do that too. It wouldn't surprise me if Braun did pin Brock if it became a triple threat. So that's for me right now. I'm going to go grab a drink. Actually, Griff, take over. You want some?
I'm good right now. I'm gonna go get some food in a little bit whenever you come back. But man, I don't know what it is with WWE. It's like they get you excited, but then when you're excited, you get let down. Even with the pay-per-views and everything. Oh great, we get the jobber angle now on Raw, with all of them talking, and oh my god, Mike Bennett actually made it onto TV. Fucking Mojo Rawley, what a Oh man, but the one thing I want to talk about though is fuck, what do I want to talk about? All these jobbers got me distracted. The thing I always notice too with WWE shows is when they get you excited for something, the show's always a letdown. Look at Mania this year. Reigns and Lesnar is Reigns and Lesnar, but like AJ and Shinsuke, not a good match. Okay, the dogs just kind of got up, and I think they're excited because I think my parents are home. But just looking at this whole like WWE right now, like that's why I loved going to Slammiversary so much, because Slammiversary honestly was something new. It was a new, it was just something new I got to get exposed to. Like, man, this is why I also love this time of year too, because the fucking NFL is back. I am currently rocking my Dante Hightower Color Rush Patriots uniform because football's back, and I'm throwing this bad boy on. But anyway, man, oh man, where do I go with here? Like, it's sad when you already know. Like, most people can think and predict that fucking NXT is gonna be better than SummerSlam, but you know what? It's sad when like you already know it's gonna be better. Not when there's like, hey, there's a chance it may be better. When you already know NXT is gonna be better. They have Ricochet versus EC3, or no, actually Ricochet versus Adam Cole. My bad. EC3 versus Velveteen. Gargano, Black, and new champ Ciampa, Kairi Sane, and Shayna Baszler.
You see,
Those are 5 matches right there. That's anything that's better than on SummerSlam.
by the way, Ciampa's
Ciampa wins Twitter.
Ciampa's
That-
Twitters
you-
are fucking hilarious.
You popped and marked out so hard over fucking Titus O'Neil. This is like the pros and cons of like watching.
What did I pop over?
Fucking Ciampa swapping heads on the photograph of and fucking Triple H and Ciampa.
And then he does the at Triple H.
Yeah.
He does it in such a weird way. He doesn't even actually at them.
Yeah. Great, now you get to watch fucking Akam take on Apollo Crews.
Apollo's the white. You know how Apollo used to be a smiling guy, but now Finn Balor has taken over the role of the smiley guy. So Finn Balor is basically Apollo Crews is basically the black Finn Balor.
Ooh, yes. But
Even Apollo Crews doesn't smile as much as Finn Balor now.
nope. But you know one thing I want to talk about though is one thing I've noticed online, that when people rate like shows and stuff, I feel like, and this is a problem I find that a lot of wrestling fans have, is that they spend a lot of time caring too much and like thinking about like
What other people?
what other people think. Like, worry about what you think. Did you enjoy a pay-per-view? Did you not enjoy a pay-per-view? Do you like Superstar X or do you like Superstar Y? Like, sure, we'll always bag on certain wrestlers, and sure we'll always bag on opinions of people. But like, even for example, like, I think I was right too. I said Akam. I said Akam versus Apollo Crews.
Akam's a brown guy. He's actually.
Akam's the one that's fat. Akam fat.
Akam is actually. Yeah, for those
Canadian, I know that.
Yeah, Akam's the Canadian one. He's actually Punjabi.
From Dutch or from the...
No, the other one's about Albanian.
Oh, yeah.
And so Akam is actually Punjabi, because I could tell.
Like every other Indian Punjabi guy that gets the rock like tattoo, even though he's not Samoan.
No, I don't think that's the thing actually. I think
Go to Good Life more often, you'll see it.
I mean, honestly though, that's a lot of people doing. Even black guys get the Samoan tats, and it's just a fad now.
Love that. Someone's religion's a fad.
But what's a cultural thing?
Imagine if I went and got a sleeve full of like Sikh heritage like symbols, I'd be called racist.
But honestly, who cares? Because right now it's only abnormal because it's just starting, right? For example, look at how socially accepted Chinese tattoos are. Everyone gets Chinese tattoos, like even though you're not Chinese. But it's because it's just a thing it's just a norm now, right? Because we were born after it was already normalized. So eventually, it's just things go in a cycle, right? Who knows? Maybe in 40 years, not 40 years, but like in the next 10 years when we start having kids or whatever. Not me. Griff will have like 4 kids though.
No.
You'll have at least 4.
2 max, but I'm gonna go get some food. So TJ, this is all on you.
That's fine. I will.
You carry the show. You be the A show. I'll be the B show. I don't care. You know it's my podcast.
But so with like tattoos, as I was saying, like it's, who cares really? I mean, if people want to get Samoan tats or Russian tats or whatever they want, just go ahead. If people can get Chinese tats, all over them, whether they're whichever part of the world they're from, then what's the difference between that and getting Samoan tats, right? So now, yeah, with Akam, I knew he was. I could tell that he was, brown or some sort of Indian or Punjabi, whatever, which is basically, Punjabis are Indians. But wow, okay, sorry, I just saw Apollo Crews beat Akam. So Authors of Pain are now losing in roll-ups to Titus Worldwide. I don't want to overreact, but come on. I'm usually not one to overreact to losses, but Authors of Pain should not be losing just yet. And they should definitely not be losing and getting outsmarted by fucking Titus Worldwide. That is just, man, this booking again, why am I even complaining as if this is something unexpected? Dolph Ziggler has some pretty interesting hair tonight. I really like it. And so as I was saying, sorry, I'm losing my the track of mine tonight, because I do apologize for that if I do sound a little bit slow today, because I only got 2 hours of sleep last night, and I worked very early in the morning until 4 o'clock. So it's just one of those days, If you're wondering why I only slept 2 hours, I mean, to be honest, I just don't like sleeping. Yeah, so I was talking about Akam. Yeah, Akam, he was having a match in NXT, and he's probably done this a couple times, but he starts speaking Punjabi out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, that guy's obviously Punjabi, and yeah, sure enough, he is. He's from BC. Razor, I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, he is Albanian or something. So I really like them. They're very credible. They have a kick-ass entrance. They have kick-ass music. I don't know if it was mentioned on last week's podcast, but like I have said this before to some of the other people, I don't like how they got rid of Paul Ellering, because I feel like Paul Ellering brought something to the entire act, and even if, let's say, Paul Ellering cannot handle the schedule and he has to go away, whatever, so bring someone else in, someone, even if they're not as good as Paul Ellering, bring someone else in, because I just don't want Authors of Pain talking. Just the idea of them speaking and trying to be the whole sports entertainers part. I don't know about that. I know they did a promo on Raw last week, which I haven't even watched yet. I wonder how that came out. I can't picture them. I can't picture them talking. And as you can probably tell, my voice is going away. I'm just completely blown up today. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but yeah, it's a lot of. Okay, so what's going on over here? Yeah, we're just having a casual conversation on one of our WhatsApp chats about Nikolai Volkov. I don't know if you guys have heard about Such, but Such is a really lovely guy that we know. He's a lifelong wrestling fan. This guy literally knows everything about wrestling, going back to like the 70s, the 60s, or whatever. He knows every little thing. Big Hulkamaniac. He posted a picture of him meeting Nikolai Volkov, and how he talked to Nikolai Volkov about his Punjabi and Sikh religion and culture, and Nikolai Volkov responded with amazing. He said, in his words, Nikolai Volkov was very amazed and interested, and he said beautiful culture. I mean, if he said only beautiful culture, though, I mean, he probably didn't really understand much about it. But not saying it's not a beautiful culture. I'm just saying that's the most basic response, But Jerome Iginla, I heard he's finishing his career in Calgary.
Yeah, basically what he did was, I'll touch more on this. I did something that was called stupid by someone that I know, which is he played for the Calgary Flames for the longest time, then he went to Boston, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles. There may be another one in there that I'm forgetting, but basically he went to those teams when he decided to retire a Flame. Like, people too were saying, oh, Vince Carter's going to retire. Vince Carter signed with the Atlanta Hawks, so he's going to like retire wherever. Vince Carter's probably going to come back here, do what Ginla did, sign that one-day contract, so he can retire a Toronto Raptor. Because at heart, that was where the launching pad for his career was. Oh my God. Next week, Ronda Rousey and Alicia Fox on Raw. That's such filler. You know something's gonna. It's so stupid. But what's it called?
But did Jerome again ever win?
No, he's one of those players that will go down in history as probably one of the greatest players to play the game, but never win the cup.
So like a William Regal who never won the World Championship.
Exactly, or like how
Sir Piper who never won the WWE Championship.
yeah, exactly. Like so it's just like that. Like rest in
A lot
peace.
of
A lot of examples like that. But the main thing with a guy like this is actually good though because I think Brock's going to close Raw. But the one thing I was going to say to you is with Aginla, and then today he decided to call it a career. He'll probably be a Hall of Famer in the next 5 years. Yeah, that was what he did today. He signed a contract with the. Well, I don't know if he signed a one day with the Flames or not, but I think he did. And then today was basically his press conference where he just spoke with the media in Calgary to retire. There was former teammates of his, former coaches.
Where's he from?
He is from St. Albert, Alberta. I think it's a suburb of. I believe it's a suburb of Edmonton, but that's where he's from. But no, he got to play for his childhood team, he could play not childhood, but he had to play in province for 12 of the 16 years of his career total. But no, he'll go down as I'm not saying he's like one of the best NHL players of all time, but he's up there though in the conversation of like one of the top Canadians to play the game. Like I'm not saying a top 5 or anything, but like he was a great player. Like let me just pull up his stats quickly. Jerome Aginla. We do not have a stat boy yet.
Wow, his real fucking name is long.
I believe he is.
Arthur Lee Conley, Tig Jr.
I'm pretty sure he's has Aboriginal. I'm pretty sure he's
He looks native.
Yeah, he looks native, and also too, St. Albert is he's actually Edmonton, but it's like I believe St. Albert's a suburb.
It is, yeah.
So basically, he let's just do this right here. Yeah, he retired in Calgary at the Flames facility, so pretty much he is retiring a Calgary Flame. But he also note this: he won 2 gold medals with the Olympics. He won gold with Canada 2002 in Salt Lake and 2010 in Vancouver. He won World Championship gold in 97 in Finland, 04 World Cup of Hockey gold, and gold the 1996 World Junior Tournament, which took place in Massachusetts, USA, but more likely it was in Worcester, Marlborough, Amherst, and Boston, with the finals taking place in Chestnut Hill. I don't know where Chestnut Hill is. But also, too, he married his high school sweetheart. They have 3 children together. He is Christian. But his best season in the league, he finishes off with 1,554 games played, 625 goals, 675 assists, 1,300 points, and only 1,040 penalty minutes. His most penalized, that's his career totals, though, spanning from 93-94 with the Kamloops Blazers, in which one season when he had, get this, 63 goals, 73 assists, and 136 points in 63 games. Yeah. His best NHL season I see here, though, was in 2007-2008 when he had 50 points. He had 50 goals, 48 assists, 98 points as a member of the Calgary Flames. And then he had a season in Pittsburgh, and he got traded in that shortened lockout year. Played a year in Boston, played 3 years in Colorado, and then got traded to the Kings in 2017, 2018. Did not play last year. He was also selected to All-Star games in 02, 03, 04, 08, 2009, and 2012. But all in all, though, Jerome Aginla was literally, he is one of the, I don't know where he is ranked in the NHL top 100, but personally, if I had to make a list, he'd be in mine. That's for sure. That's one thing I know. But,
he's half Nigerian, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured that. He's a darker skinned guy. But, no, just, yeah, it's one of, that's the thing with hockey right now is a lot of the guys, like, I know you didn't watch much hockey growing up, but for me, a lot of the guys that are retiring are the guys who I grew up watching. So that's why I have a little bit more to say about it. But also, too, though, you know how I've been talking to you about the whole, oh, geez, Seth Rollins is going to die here.
So is O.J. Simpson going to come back and retire Bills?
No, that won't happen. He'll retire with the Nevada Department of Corrections. But
Look,
there's fucking
Tic Tacs.
there's fucking Tic Tacs under the ring. What the hell? What the hell?
You know that's gonna be a gif. I'll call it right now. He's choking on the Tic Tacs.
Oh my god!
They're gonna make that joke.
So good it could work. We're over an hour now, but oh god. But no. Also though, next week, you know how earlier tonight Andrew and I did the not fantasy football. That's next week. The NHL free agency podcast.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew DeLuca's gonna be back next week. So far confirmed guest Nightmare 10 and I are breaking our Tuesday Night War truce for one special episode of No Holds Barred. TJ, I want you to be here for that because the three of us know fantasy football well. Two of us have won fantasy football championships. One of us has 2 runner-up championships.
Right, who's won that championship?
Phil and Andrew have won before. I've won second place twice. I've had my struggling luck with fantasy has not been the best. But next week, our show is all about building you the perfect team. So what I want to do is have you come on because I know this is going to be your first year playing fantasy football, so that when you go into your draft, you are fully prepared and you know what to do, even though I'm still going to beat you. We're not going to trick you, no. No, we won't do that. We're experts on fantasy football. We know what we're doing. We know who we're picking. We know what guys you should take. Doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get them, but if you do, you do. You don't, you don't. So that's next week, guys. That episode will be up before SummerSlam. And the week after, we are back, Pure Wrestling, SummerSlam, NXT Brooklyn. We're going to record and have that episode up by August 17th because August 19th is the pay-per-view, so you have a couple days to listen to it and get ready for the show. TJ and I will be here talking forever. Probably record that We're going to record that probably August 15th just because we want to make sure we're in sync with everything that's going on. Like, we'll record it probably while we're watching NXT. But, yeah, just to give you a heads up of what's coming up. And then also to fantasy football. You never know who may stop by next week. But so far confirmed, Nightmare 10 and Andrew DeLuca, guests on the show, as TJ and I will host it. It's going to be fun. Hopefully we can get the second mic back up and working by then. Producer Conrad may be coming back for that one. He's been off right now, man. Last we heard, he was high as a kite walking around Amsterdam. Man, that guy's having the time of his life. Conrad, he's off on his world tour right now. Doing Conrad things in Conrad places, baby. Oh, but no. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Honestly, I'm pretty good.
I'm good too.
This is one of those nights where,
like, we just talked about random stuff. All I could tell, we could talk about how the water string frog's gay, but you don't want to talk about that. But anyway, I feel like we're.
That's not spread fake news.
No, it's not spread fake news. Just Alex Jones memes. Krispy Kreme and Tushy.com are still sponsoring us.
What about Vixen.com?
No, Vixen.com said no to us. We may get a deal though with Porn.ts.
The fuck is that?
I'm just joking. That was a joke. Figure out what TS stands for.
The shark?
No, I don't want to know if you have a porn website out there. But anyway, we got to talk to Brazzers about a sponsorship deal, too, because we'll promote the hell out of them.
TS.
But I'll show it to you when we go off air. But anyway, guys, I guess that's it from me. Is that it from you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good tonight. I'm pretty tired, to be honest. And, well, not tired, but, like, I was just in one of those moods, just like I can talk, but I don't want to, like, talk too much tonight, so. But we'll be back next week for sure.
So like TJ said, we'll be back next week for sure. Next week, join us for the Fantasy Football 2018 podcast. We're going to build you the best goddamn lineup to win your league. Just not any league that myself, Andrew, Tashar, or Nightmare 10 are involved in. Some other stars may be coming on. Who knows? But anyway, guys, from us to you, good night. And we'll see you next week with Fantasy Football, then SummerSlam. But we're no holds barred, baby. Peace out.